Hello fans! Welcome back to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today, we will dive deep into the swirling drama and intriguing developments set to unfold on Monday, June 30th, in Port Charles. From whispered warnings and hidden scandals to mysterious happenings and emotional crossroads, the residents of this beloved town are in for another roller coaster of a day. So, grab a cozy spot, and let's explore the latest twists and turns that will keep us glued to our screens, with expanded details, fresh perspectives, and captivating new elements woven into the narrative. Brooklyn Quartermaine faces a dire warning. First up, we have Brooklyn Quartermaine at the center of a brewing storm that could shake the very foundations of her world. As she engages in a tense conversation with the ever-enigmatic Natalia Rogers-Ramirez, it becomes clear that a scandal of monumental proportions is looming on the horizon. Brooklyn, with her sharp mind and protective instincts, is visibly rattled as she ponders whether they can sidestep the explosive fallout that threatens to erupt. The stakes are unimaginably high, particularly since Natalia seems to have a penchant for letting sensitive information slip at the most inopportune moments. Could it be that Natalia is on the verge of revealing a bombshell about Sonny Corinthos, the formidable power player who allegedly funded her escape from Port Charles? As a major investor in deception, Sonny's involvement in anything remotely shady could spell disaster for the company's reputation and bottom line. Imagine the headlines if word got out that his financial dealings were less than pristine, perhaps even tied to illicit funds funneled through shadowy channels. The mere whisper of such a connection could send stock prices plummeting and tarnish Deception's carefully curated image as a beacon of glamour and integrity. Moreover, if evidence of wrongdoing were to surface and make its way to the authorities, the consequences could be catastrophic, not just for Sonny, but for everyone associated with him. Rumor has it that the individual responsible for managing these transactions, a once trusted financial advisor nicknamed the Ledger, may have made a grave error, using tainted money in a desperate bid to cover losses elsewhere. Whispers around Port Charles suggest that this mysterious figure has since vanished from Sonny's inner circle, perhaps facing a fate far worse than mere unemployment. Could he be hiding out, fearing retribution, or has he been silenced for good? Adding another layer of intrigue, there's the possibility that Natalia's warning to Brooklyn isn't directly tied to Sonny's financial missteps but rather to an external threat. Perhaps she hints at the acting district attorney's relentless pursuit of Sonny, a vendetta that could drag Deception into a media frenzy regardless of whether the money is clean. The press, ever hungry for a scandal, would feast on the mere implication of an investigation into one of Deception's biggest backers. Brooklyn, ever the strategist, must now navigate this minefield, balancing her loyalty to her family's legacy with the need to protect her company from becoming collateral damage in a war she didn't start. Will she find a way to shield Deception from the impending storm, or will Natalia's loose lips sink more than one ship? A troubling mystery surrounds Sasha Gilmore. Meanwhile, Sasha Gilmore finds herself entangled in a web of confusion and suspicion that threatens to unravel her hard-won stability. At the heart of this week's drama is a christening celebration for little Daisy, an event that should be filled with joy and togetherness but is instead overshadowed by unsettling undercurrents. As friends and family gather to honor the newest addition to their circle, Sasha can't shake the feeling that something is terribly wrong. In a hushed conversation with Cody Bell, captured in the latest promo, she confides that peculiar incidents have been plaguing her at the iconic Quartermaine mansion. From misplaced items to cryptic messages left in the most unexpected place, like a milk carton inexplicably tucked away in a tea cabinet, Sasha suspects that someone is deliberately toying with her sanity. The question on everyone's mind is, who could be behind this insidious campaign to destabilize Sasha, and why now? After enduring countless hardships, from personal losses to public scandals, Sasha had finally begun to carve out a semblance of peace in her tumultuous life. Yet, it seems the writers of Port Charles have decided that her reprieve was far too brief. Could this be the work of a jealous rival? Perhaps someone within the Quartermaine household who resents Sasha's growing closeness to certain family members? Or might it be a blast from her past, a figure long thought gone who has returned with a vendetta to settle? One chilling theory floating among fans is that a former associate of Sasha's late husband, Brando Corbin, could be orchestrating these disturbances, seeking to punish her for perceived betrayals during their tumultuous marriage. As Sasha grapples with these unnerving events, her bond with Cody becomes a lifeline. His rugged charm and steadfast support offer a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos, but even he seems perplexed by the bizarre happenings. Together, they must uncover the identity of the shadowy puppeteer pulling the strings before Sasha's fragile peace shatters completely. Will they unearth a sinister plot? Or is this merely a cruel prank taken too far? One thing is certain, Sasha's journey is about to take a darker turn, and we'll be on the edge of our seats watching every twist. Anna Devane, a pillar of strength in turbulent times. Elsewhere in Port Charles, the indomitable Anna Devane steps into the role of confidant and counselor as emotional storms brew around her. Known for her steely resolve and compassionate heart, Anna finds herself facing a barrage of tough questions not just about her own choices, but also regarding the dilemmas of those she holds dear. On this particular day, her attention turns to Jordan Ashford, whose personal life appears to be in disarray. In a moment of raw vulnerability, Jordan admits to Anna that she's uncertain if she can continue to be around him, a statement that most likely refers to Curtis Ashford, her ex and the source of lingering tension. The dynamics here are layered with complexity. Jordan's recent interactions with Curtis have not gone unnoticed, particularly by Portia Robinson, who has already confronted Jordan about overstepping boundaries. Portia's protective stance over her relationship with Curtis adds fuel to an already smoldering fire, leaving Jordan caught between past feelings and present realities. Even Isaiah Gannon, a newcomer to this intricate web, offered little solace when Jordan sought his perspective, his own doubts mirroring her uncertainty. Now, turning to Anna, Jordan hopes for clarity or at least a sympathetic ear to help navigate this emotional minefield. Anna, with her wealth of experience in matters of the heart and the battlefield, may offer advice drawn from her own storied past, perhaps recounting a time when she had to let go of a love that could no longer be salvaged. But Anna's role as a listener doesn't come without its challenges. As she supports Jordan, she must also contend with her own pressing concerns, questions that probe at old wounds and resolve conflicts. Could these be tied to her ongoing dance with danger in the form of Valentin Casadini, or perhaps a resurfacing threat from her days as a double agent? Whatever the case, Anna's strength and wisdom will be tested as she strives to guide Jordan while keeping her own house in order. Will her counsel steer Jordan toward reconciliation, or will it push her to sever ties with Curtis once and for all? And how will Anna balance the weight of her own burdens while being a rock for others? Next, we will delve into the emotionally charged drama surrounding Willow Tate, Michael Corinthos, and the heart-wrenching custody battle over their children, Wiley and Amelia Corinthos. This storyline has sparked intense debate among fans, with passionately divided opinions on whether Willow deserves access to her kids despite her troubling entanglement with Drew Kane, or if Michael is justified in his protective stance. Join us as we explore every facet of this gripping saga, weaving in fresh details, inventive twists, and expanded perspectives on the core issues at play. Let's unpack the turmoil in Port Charles with a deep dive into the motivations, mistakes, and moral dilemmas that define this captivating conflict. Willow Tate's heartbreaking struggle, a mother's desperate plea. At the center of this storm is Willow Tate, a woman whose life has been upended by manipulation and loss. The courtroom scene where Willow lost full custody of Wiley and Amelia to Michael was nothing short of devastating. Her raw, anguished meltdown in the wake of the judge's ruling painted a picture of a mother broken by the weight of her circumstances. A moment so intense that it landed her in the hospital for emotional distress. Witnesses described her collapsing in tears, clutching a small photo of her children as if it were her last tether to them. Fans who have followed Willow's journey know she isn't defined by malice or negligence. Rather, she's a loving mother ensnared by Drew Kane's deceitful influence. A puppet in a game she didn't choose to play. Willow's inherent goodness shines through even in her darkest hours. Reflect on her selfless act of rushing to aid Sasha Corbin during the harrowing delivery of her and Michael's baby, a decision that showcased her compassionate heart and quick thinking under pressure. This wasn't the act of a neglectful parent but of someone who prioritizes family, even amidst personal chaos. Moreover, when left to make choices independently, Willow has consistently proven her sound judgment, like the time she deferred to Sonny Corinthos for critical medical decisions on Michael's behalf. Despite holding legal proxy power, this act of humility and trust speaks volumes about her character. Fans arguing under Team Amabir believe that Willow's bond with Wiley and Amelia, who undoubtedly miss their mother's warmth, warrants at least supervised visitation. Could a compromise, perhaps mediated by a neutral party like Carly Spencer, offer a path forward? The thought of Wiley asking for his mama at bedtime or Amelia drawing pictures of a family reunited tugs at the heartstrings, reinforcing the argument that denying Willow access might inflict more harm on the children than good. Adding a new layer to this tragedy, whispers around Port Charles suggest Willow has been quietly attending a support group at the hospital, trying to reclaim her sense of self after Drew's manipulations shattered her confidence. And a named source claims she's been journaling letters to Wiley and Amelia, pouring her regrets and dreams into pages she hopes they'll one day read. These efforts, if true, paint Willow as a mother fighting not just for custody but for redemption. The question remains, can the court and Michael see past her current entanglement to the devoted parent she's striving to be again? Michael Corinthos, a father's protective instincts. On the other side of this emotional battlefield stands Michael Corinthos, a father whose every decision is fueled by an unwavering desire to shield his children from harm. Make no mistake, keeping Wiley and Amelia from Willow is not a vendetta or a power play, it's a gut-wrenching choice that tears at Michael's soul. Those close to him, including his trusted confidant Jason Morgan, have noted the sleepless nights and quiet moments of doubt where Michael questions if he's doing right by his family. His pain is palpable, rooted in a love so fierce that it compels him to prioritize Wiley and Amelia's safety above all else, even if it means breaking his own heart in the process. Michael's resolve hardened after a particularly vile incident orchestrated by Drew Kane, whose toxic influence continues to poison everything in its path. During a tense encounter, Drew brazenly declared in front of young Wiley that Michael no longer cared for him or Amelia since the arrival of baby Daisy. The cruel words, spat with venomous intent, left an indelible mark on the little boy, who later asked Michael with tearful confusion if it was true. This was a new low for Drew, a man whose lack of moral compass and mastery of manipulation have left devastation in their wake. For Michael, this was the final straw, proof that allowing Willow access, while she remains under Drew's sway, risks exposing his children to emotional turmoil and psychological damage. The Team Papabear camp stands firmly behind Michael, arguing that until Willow breaks free from Drew's grip, the potential for further harm looms too large to ignore. A fresh angle to consider is the ripple effect of Michael's decision on the broader Corinthos family. Sonny, despite his own complex history with custody battles, has reportedly urged Michael to consider a middle ground, fearing that a total separation might breed resentment in Wiley and Amelia as they grow older. Meanwhile, a rumored altercation at the Quartermain estate where Drew allegedly tried to corner Michael during a family gathering has only cemented Michael's belief that Drew's presence is a direct threat. With such a volatile figure in the mix, can Michael afford to let his guard down, even for the sake of Willow's maternal rights? His protective stance, while painful, may be the only way to safeguard his children's innocence until the dust settles. The Drew Kane factor, a villain in the shadows. No discussion of this custody clash would be complete without addressing the ominous shadow cast by Drew Kane, the orchestrator of much of Willow's downfall. Drew's manipulations have not only fractured a family but have also turned public opinion into a battleground. His calculated charm and ruthless tactics have ensnared Willow, clouding her judgment and leading her down a path of self-destruct. Fans and Port Charles residents alike have watched in horror as Drew's influence transformed a once independent Willow into a shell of her former self, raising the question of whether her current state is truly her fault or the product of a predator's design. Beyond the courtroom drama, new whispers suggest Drew has deeper motives for targeting the Corinthos family. A speculative theory posits that Drew's vendetta stems from a long-buried grudge against Michael's grandfather, Edward Quartermain, over a business deal gone sour decades ago. If true, Willow might merely be a pawn in a larger game of revenge against the Quartermain Corinthos lineage. Such a revelation would add a chilling dimension to Drew's actions, painting him as a man driven not just by greed or spite but by a cold, calculated obsession. Until Willow sees through his facade, a moment many hope is imminent. Mitchell's fears of Drew's toxic impact on Wiley and Amelia remain tragically valid. Could an unexpected ally, perhaps a reformed foe from Drew's past, emerge to expose his true nature and liberate Willow from his control? A divided fandom, where do you stand? As the debate rages on in Port Charles and among fans worldwide, the question at the heart of this storyline persists: should Willow be granted access to Wiley and Amelia? Or is Michael right to shield them from potential harm? Team Mama Bear champions Willow's inherent goodness and the undeniable bond she shares with her children, arguing that a mother's love can heal even the deepest wounds. They point to her past sacrifices and current efforts at redemption as proof she deserves a chance to rebuild her family. Conversely, Team Papa Bear supports Michael's protective instincts, emphasizing the immediate dangers posed by Drew's influence and the need to prioritize the children's emotional well-being over Willow's maternal rights. Adding to the complexity, a local Port Charles charity has reportedly launched a campaign called Family First, advocating for mediated reunions in high-conflict custody cases like this one. Their involvement could introduce a neutral perspective, potentially pressuring both Willow and Michael to consider alternative solutions. Imagine a supervised visit at a neutral location like Kelly's Diner, where Wiley and Amelia could share a milkshake with their mother under watchful eyes. Could this be the compromise that mends broken ties without risking further harm? Next, we will immerse ourselves in the thrilling twists and unexpected turns set to unfold in Port Charles during the week of June 30, 2025. From a whirlwind wedding and dangerous deals to betrayals and cunning schemes, the residents of this beloved town are in for a week of drama that will leave us breathless. Join us as we expand on these gripping storylines, infuse creative new details, and explore every angle of the bombshells awaiting us on the horizon. Buckle up for an in-depth journey through the latest spoilers, packed with intrigue and emotion. Sonny Corinthos, navigating a web of threats and secrets. First on our radar is the ever-formidable Sonny Corinthos, who finds himself at a perilous crossroads as enemies close in from all sides. The mob boss recently turned down a deceptive proposal from Jen Sidwell, a man whose charming facade barely conceals the lethal danger he poses to Port Charles. Sonny, with his sharp instincts honed by years in the underworld, sees through Sidwell's polished veneer and recognizes the threat lurking beneath. However, Sidwell isn't the only predator circling. Justine Turner is equally determined to dismantle Sonny's empire, wielding the full might of the law as her weapon. Her relentless pursuit has already borne fruit in the form of Natalia Ramirez's recent arrest for another DUI, a misstep that Justine expertly exploited by offering Natalia a deal to turn on Sonny. In a tense exchange, Natalia disclosed Justine's offer to Sonny, prompting the mob boss to strike a counter-deal with her to protect his interests. But Sonny's trust comes with a chilling caveat: warned Natalia that their arrangement would be nullified if even a hint of their agreement leaked to anyone. His instructions were crystal clear: not a word to her family or closest allies. Yet, in a move that could spell disaster, Natalia defied Sonny's directive and confided in her son, Marco Rios, a lawyer with a reputation for doggedly seeking the truth. Marco, frustrated by years of half-truths from his mother, might pressure her to reveal every detail of her dealings with Sonny. If Natalia cracks under the scrutiny, the fallout could be catastrophic, potentially exposing Sonny to both Justine's legal arsenal and Sidwell's ruthless retribution. Adding to the tension, a rumor circulating in Port Charles suggests that Justine has a personal vendetta against Sonny, stemming from a long-buried case involving her late brother, who vanished under mysterious circumstances tied to the Corinthos organization. If true, her crusade against Sonny isn't just professional, it's deeply personal, making her an even more dangerous adversary. Willow Tate and Drew Kane, a wedding rushed by desperation. Meanwhile, the emotional saga of Willow Tate takes a dramatic turn as she and Drew Kane hurtle toward an unexpectedly swift wedding. Willow, still reeling from the loss of custody over her children, Wiley and Amelia, sees marriage to Drew as her best shot at reclaiming her role as their mother. Despite a stern warning from Michael Corinthos, who has made no secret of his distrust of Drew, Willow stood her ground with a mix of defiance and desperation. Convinced that this union will sway the courts in her favor, she even shared her decision with Nina Reeves, hoping for an ally in her corner, though Nina's reaction tinged with concern hinted at doubts about Drew's true intentions. As news of the impending nuptials spreads like wildfire through Port Charles, Drew grows increasingly paranoid that someone might pierce through his carefully crafted image and awaken Willow to the kind of man he truly is. The rush to tie the knot, likely at Drew's insistence, adds a layer of urgency to the storyline. Picture a hastily arranged ceremony at a quaint seaside chapel just outside town, with minimal guests and a sense of foreboding hanging over the vows. Drew's anxiety isn't unfounded. Whispers suggest that Carly Spencer, ever protective of Willow, has been digging into Drew's recent dealings, uncovering discrepancies in his congressional campaign funding that point to shady backers. If Carly or anyone else reaches Willow with hard evidence before the I-do's are exchanged, the wedding could implode spectacularly. For now, Willow clings to her belief that this marriage is her lifeline, unaware of the storm brewing as Drew scrambles to secure her loyalty. Will love your manipulation triumph, or will the truth shatter her fragile hopes before the week is out? Trina Robinson and Kai Taylor, or romance tested by betrayal. Love and trust collide in the evolving relationship between Trina Robinson and Kai Taylor, as a potential betrayal threatens to tear them apart. Trina, who believed her heartfelt confessions to Kai were safe within the sanctity of their bond, may soon discover that her trust was misplaced. Kai, caught in a moral quagmire, feels indebted to Drew Kane for reasons yet to be fully revealed, and perhaps a financial bailout or a favor called in during a moment of desperation. This obligation might have pushed Kai to share Trina's private thoughts with Drew, an act that could shatter the foundation of their burgeoning romance when it comes to light. The fallout promises to be explosive, as Trina has already endured her share of heartbreak and deception in Port Charles. Imagine her confronting Kai at the art gallery where they first bonded over a shared love of creativity, her voice trembling with hurt as she demands answers. A new twist in this tale suggests that Kai's actions weren't entirely voluntary. A friend close to him hints that Drew may have leveraged incriminating information possibly tied to a past mistake involving Kai's family business to force his hand. This added dimension paints Kai as a reluctant traitor, torn between loyalty to Trina and the crushing weight of Drew's influence. Can their love survive this breach, or will Trina walk away, vowing never to let her guard down again? Vaughn's cunning plan, building trust with a canine twist. In a lighter yet equally intriguing plotline, WSB handler Vaughn is pulling out all the stops to ingratiate himself with Emma Scorpio Drake through a clever scheme involving a shared love for animals. Vaughn's latest trick, introducing a rescue dog into the mix as a way to bond with Emma, seems poised for success, tapping into her well-known compassion for creatures great and small. Their chance encounters at a local dog park, where Vaughn coincidentally shows up with an adorable pup named Rusty, are melting Emma's reservations, fostering a connection built on seemingly innocent common ground. Rusty, with his floppy ears and playful antics, has already stolen Emma's heart, paving the way for Vaughn to inch closer to her trust. But Vaughn's motives are far from pure. His ultimate goal is to infiltrate an animal activist group that Emma is passionate about, using her as a stepping stone to gather intel that could sabotage Professor Henry Hank Dalton, a character whose controversial research has drawn the ire of many. A fresh angle suggests that Vaughn's mission might be tied to a larger WSB operation targeting Hank's rumored underground network, which allegedly funds radical environmental causes through illicit means. As Vaughn ingratiates himself further, perhaps volunteering with Emma at a charity pet adoption event, he'll likely uncover secrets that Hank has buried, deep secrets that could either elevate Vaughn's standing with the WSB or put him in grave danger if discovered. Will Emma remain oblivious to Vaughn's true intentions, or will her sharp instinct sense the deception behind Rusty's wagging tail? Conclusion: a week of unforgettable drama in Port Charles. As the week of June 30, 2025, approaches, ABC General Hospital promises a tapestry of drama woven with rushed weddings, dangerous secrets, fractured romances, and cunning deceptions. Sonny Corinthos battles threats from both Jen Sidwell and Justine Turner while grappling with Natalia Ramirez's risky indiscretions. Willow Tate races toward a marriage with Drew Kane that could either save or doom her dreams of reuniting with her children, while Trina Robinson faces a heart-wrenching betrayal from Kai Taylor. Meanwhile, Vaughn's calculated charm offensive with Emma Scorpio Drake sets the stage for a larger scheme against Professor Henry Hank Dalton. Each storyline brims with tension and unexpected twists, ensuring that Port Charles remains the epicenter of soap opera magic. Share your predictions and favorite plots in the comments below, and stay tuned for more updates as we count down to this unforgettable week. Until next time, keep the drama alive.